Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and I'm here to say that once again it is Bond. We are still on Bond. We are getting closer to to the end, and I couldn't be more excited because these last groupings of film are done quite well. I enjoy them. I like what there is about them. Can't complain all too much. Like what there is, and hey, they're not that bad. And basically, we are starting the only two in the Timothy Dalton era. Timothy Dalton is a Bond who is like George Lazenby. He's ultimately been, I mean, not by a lot of true Bond fans. You go on YouTube and you see a lot of support for Timothy Dalton. But Timothy Dalton was pretty much almost forgotten about by if you're a casual Bond fan or if you're new to the series because you like Daniel Craig, or if someone showed you Connery's, you like Connery's, Moore, you like Moore, Brosnan, same thing. Um, really have never, sorry about that, pants falling down a bit, my bad. Never really have heard that about Lazenby, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. But here we have Timothy Dalton in his first movie in a very, very good film. Yep, you see it, and you guessed it. The Living Daylights. Another good song from the 80s by Aha. I think one of my second favorite, or no, my third favorite of the Bond songs, The Living Daylights. I mean, I have a whole cluster of them, and I forget where it goes from there to there. Ultimately, one of my favorites, oh, sorry, is GoldenEye, which we will be getting to. And I mean, we're not there yet. We have one other film we have to get through this before that. That's License to Kill, but I'm pretty sure you guys will know that just as well. But with The Living Daylights here, this started Timothy Dalton's first shot at the movie fame. And for those of you guys knowing if I have it, I do. And there is the awesome booklet. I really think that should have been the cover of this movie. That may have also been the movie poster. I'm not too sure, but you have basically Timothy Dalton coming in as James Bond. He's going through a training exercise where at the beginning, shoot, yeah, how'd it go? Yes, at the beginning. Oh yeah, once again, a little for you guys, as I said in the last video with View to a Kill. This is also raw and off the cuff. And I'm going to do these reviews the best that I can by memory. If I'm really bad at it, I'm going to scrap the video, find time to go back, watch the movie, then come back when I can, do the review for you guys, and there we go. But yeah, these are raw and off the cuff. But the movie started off with Bond and a whole bunch of other MI6, I believe, 00 agents doing a training exercise. They were on this little island, I think, right outside of Britain. It's part of the British Isles, but it's like a little tiny island not connected with London. But they were there doing a training exercise, and I believe it was, yeah, it was Dalton's 007 James Bond who was training, and there's this one agent who's scaling the wall along with several other agents and Bond. And this one agent, I think they said it was 005. 005's rope gets cut, and I believe it's cut by, what's his name here? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I think his name was Saunders. Thomas Wheatley, who's an assassin for the villain of this movie. One of the villains, I should say, because there's actually two, but like the guy who was the main money pusher and weapons maker, Brad Whitaker, who we'll get to in a second. But Saunders is an assassin in this movie who, like, finds 005, cuts his rope, kills him, crashes down to the rock. Bond hears this. He goes to check it out, and it leads to an awesome action opening at the beginning where he's trying to chase Saunders. Like, Timothy Dalton's literally on top of a Jeep. They were all worried about that scene with Dalton being on top of the Jeep, thinking, he's gonna get hurt. But Dalton was really for doing as many of his own stunts as he possibly could. Because I think he says in the interview to the movie, he wants to be on camera. Because he knew if there was a large cutaway or if you didn't fully see his face, that he's like, fans are smart. They know when scenes are done by the stunt doubles. Because I don't think they noticed this, but I think he makes like small references to, they noticed when Connery did it, they noticed when Moore did it. It didn't happen as much with Lazenby because Lazenby was another actor who did his own stunts, but with Moore and Connery, the two most popular Bonds, could have did that for the two most popular Bonds. That I started with, so his name is always ingrained in my memory. But Sean Connery and Roger Moore, they did whatever stunts they could, but a lot of times they had stunt doubles help them do the work. But Tim Bond fall on this boat where he meets a nice looking lady. He's all in his training gear. He's all a little like messed up and dirty, but he's like being suave with the lady. He's like, he's like, hey, how are you? You want to have a good time and whatnot? So, it was just a very nice little scene there. Ah, yes. And how could I forget too that we also have sorry. Oh yeah, Kara Milovi, who was Mariam Daabo, who is actually she doesn't well. Actually, I probably should continue with the main story. I'm doing it like I used to do in the olden days, where I would give you all the actors first. But what happens is they find out that this was an attempt by Russian separatists, and the Cold War is nearing the end because, as we know, it ended in 1989, but mostly in '93. But the Cold War was nearing its end, and Britain and Russia, and I guess you could even say the United States, they were at a time where they were trying to figure out a fragile peace. They were trying to keep stuff together. But unfortunately, their Russian defector named General, Grigory Kuskov, because I've only seen this film once, so I can't remember all the characters' names, played by Jerome Crab, was a Russian defector, and they figured they would send men after them. And Bond was to find out like information about this, like who's after him. And Bond goes off to, I think, Istanbul and a few other countries to find out who's doing this. Like he also gets the information from Moneypenny as well as a visit to Q's lab. And also, I should say, Moneypenny, like I said, in View to a Kill, is no longer played by Lois Maxwell. That was Lois Maxwell's last film. Moneypenny is now played by Carolyn Bliss, who I think did a decent job. We don't get to see her as Moneypenny a whole lot, because then, yeah, Moneypenny after Living Daylights and License to Kill is no longer played by Carolyn Bliss. It's played by Samantha Bond, who in my opinion, Samantha Bond is my other favorite Bond lady to do the character, because I think she had that same coy and sex appeal that Lois Maxwell did, because Lois Maxwell did have sex appeal. I know some people said she really didn't have sex appeal, but I think Lois Maxwell did, because Lois Maxwell had that nice, charming, sensual girl next door feel, where Samantha Bond had that, but Samantha Bond was more of the temptress, it seemed, in my way. And we will get to why I think that was, but why, Moneypenny was still the girl next door, because she never fully acted on those feelings with James Bond at all. But, we have this General Grigory Koskov, who has information on the Russians that the Britain, and I think in a joint thing with America, they're trying to use to get information out of, so they can make sure that Russia isn't trying to do anything behind their back. And what happens is yes, let me see if I have that right, because Saunders may have also been the ally within him too. Because now I feel bad that I can't remember. Let me see here. Yeah. Let me see here. Ba, 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 ba. Sorry guys, I know I shouldn't be checking on the video, but like I say, we keep it running and we're running up the cup. I'm just trying to remember here. Oh, good lord. Wish they would give like photos of the new characters, but they only give like some of the main guys. But you know what? I think that is right. I think the guy's name is Saunders. I could be wrong, because it's either Saunders or Necros. But what I will say is Saunders, the assassin, actually goes in and finds uh, Koskov. Yeah, Koskov. Sorry, I apologize, guys. I really do. But he finds Koskov, and he's trying to kidnap him. Like, they're using a medical helicopter to pose as a British medical helicopter to get Koskov out of there, and everything goes good. Where you have like Saunders sneaking in, but like what happens is one of the British guards, who I think is also a double O agent, sees or not Koska, Saunders, and he and Saunders have this pretty much good, awesome kitchen fight where they're just throwing the tools at each other. They're using the oven, the stove. They're using a lot of things out there. And what I liked about it is it shows how the other British agents in this one aren't like, we're just gonna stand there and be like little like side characters and get the crap kicked out of us. No, it shows how in this film these guys are trained to do what they can to protect, and they're not going down easily. And I loved it. One of these films showed that it was awesome to see, really good to know, and just fits the bill. And I loved how this supporting character got all this time in with Saunders, and we got to see how legitimate threat Saunders was. We got to see that the other MI5 agents were MI6 agents, the double O's, were really good at what they could do, and it was just an awesome scene. Ultimately, Saunders defeats him. I can't remember if he kills the guy or not, but he defeats him. He goes down the hall, I think takes out a few more agents, gets Koskov, and Koskov's frightened. He gets into the helicopter and he takes off. And when they lose Koskov, M, still played by Robert Brown, in this one is telling Bond, we lost our biggest lead. I hope your leads turned up anything. And Bond said he found out a little, but it was sort of, I believe, also a dead end. So M tells Bond to go find, I believe, Klaskov's girlfriend or mistress, Kara Malavi, played by Miriam Dabo, who I believe was in love with Koskov. She knew him, and what happened was the KGB was trying to track her down to arrest her and or to kill her because she feared for her life. Bond actually helps her out, and at the same time, we have the KGB after her, but we also have, I think, Whitaker's men after her, and like Bond uses all the tools and tricks of the trade to help her out, and she's got like this big army general now turned arms dealer who is using, war to fuel what he needs to make a lot of money. And Brad Whitaker is brilliantly played by Joe Don Baker. Joe Don Baker just has this sort of like tough but yet rich like lifestyle exterior because he lives on this big mansion on the lake, I think right outside of Istanbul. He has that. He also has all these rich things where, oh yeah, he's also like, he treats himself like an emperor because he imagines himself like Caligula, Napoleon, all the greats. Like, he establishes, I think, a bit between Stalin himself and Hitler. Like, he believes he's a great war general, and he doesn't mind being a fearmonger and this weapon salesman. Joe Don Baker plays the role really great. And what's cool about this is Joe Don Baker is once again another one of the few actors in Bond, because you can even count some of the new ones too, but I don't fully count the new ones because I know, yes, they've had a lot of characters and the new ones reprise the role, but at the same time, I don't think it was as clever as the way they've recycled certain actors in the Bond series or brought them back. But Joe Don Baker was another actor who got to come back and play another character. So not only was he good as weapons seller Brad Whitaker, the mad weapons seller Brad Whitaker, he also plays a good guy in two films in the future. Jack Wade, CIA agent from Tomorrow Never Dies, and more importantly, his biggest role, Goldeneye, which I think he was brilliant. I think he was brilliant in those roles too. Like, really good as CIA agent Jack Wade to take over for Felix Leiter. On a side note too, like towards the end of this movie here, I'm gonna try to see if I can find it and look it up for you guys. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna look up my filmography sites here. Just give me a moment, because I know Felix Leiter was in here, and he's played by another favorite actor of mine. So let me see here. Type in the living. Because sorry, I want to find out who this is, because it's like, to me, it's like, damn it, I want to know, because I actually like this actor and it's cool. I mean, it was a small role for Felix Leiter in this one, but it was cool that they got him. And I just want to remember. Yeah, let's see here. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, that's his name, John Terry. That's who played Felix Leiter, John Terry. And John Terry, who usually is a power member of Authority, and you may know him from 24, also from Full Metal Jacket, where he played the general that sends Rafterman and Rafterman and Joker out to the wilds to film, things that go on to Vietnam, to hook up with a platoon by Cowboy and a few other of the people that we see, like Animal Mother and all those guys. But John Terry's in here playing Felix Leiter, who, once again, short role, but it was awesome to see John Terry in the role as Felix Leiter. Another favorite actor to play Felix Leiter. My favorite ones are probably, well, yeah, Jack Lord, David Hedison, and John Terry. My dark horse favorites probably has to be Rick Van Nutter, who did it in Thunderball 2. Rick Van Nutter wasn't that bad either. And I will probably edit this out of the video, guys, but I will be back in a moment. I have to use the bathroom. Give me 1 sec. All right, guys, I am back. Sorry about that, but I am back to return. And you have, like I said, Felix Leiter in this movie that helps, I believe, Bond get into Brad Whitaker's compound to kill him, which is actually very awesome and fun, because when Bond gets there, it's like, Bond sort of looks at Brad Whitaker's place as like a jungle gym, and But, he sees all the things he has in there, all the war armors, the lavish lifestyle, and he, like, outwits him. And Brad Whitaker, I think, uses this, like, high-tech machine gun with all this defense stuff to try to come after Bond. And I think Bond outsmarts him. And I forget how he kills him. I think he shoots him with, like, another spear gun, or it's, like a... Oh, it's like a bazooka or something, because I think it's like one of the explosives that Brad Whitaker has, and Bond shoots him with that, and he takes out Whitaker, and Whitaker dies on the table of Napoleon's Battle of Waterloo. And I forgot what Timothy Dalton said as James Bond, but he made some like great quip about Whitaker dying on the Napoleon table. Wish I could remember it. I'm gonna like read when I go through all my films that I own. I know it's gonna be a while before I hit every film, but when I do go through all the films, I do plan to go back and relook at everything again and give like new takes on it and like try to remember certain quotes, other things, what I thought of villains of the movies. I mean, like I said, they may only be like few minute videos and things at the time. And I mean, I don't want to make I don't want to make short videos, but if I do, that's just the whole thing. I mean, like I said, I'm going to do all these different styles of videos. I just don't want to be known for one type of movie review or show review or things. And like I said, certain sorry, I don't know why I did that. I'm just like seeing myself. I need a shower. Sorry, I know that's weird, but either way, sorry for that. But like, I want to do different styles. So I mean, I forgot what Bond says to Whitaker after he kills him, but I know Whitaker dies on the Napoleon table, and Bond says some like quirky little quip about that. There's also two allies that Bond has in this movie. One. I mean, I guess you could say Gotel, or Walter Gotel's character, General Gogol, sort of was his ally, but they were like frenemies at best, where they respected each other, but they ultimately had different goals. Gogol wanted further Russia's supremacy, but do it rightly without causing huge war, and Bond was a protectorate of complete peace and not wanting to start anything at all. Dealings with Britain, and nobody's the wiser. And he'll keep funding Brad Whitaker and do what he needs to do. And he wants Pushkin out of the way. And Pushkin is actually a pretty decent guy, wanting to do things smartly. He's played by John Rhys Davies, who's actually a very mild-mannered guy. And John Rhys, is that the? I wonder if that's the same. Am I thinking, is that the same John Rhys Davies, or maybe it is? I'm trying to think. Is that the same guy who does Sala and in Indiana Jones? But I'm not too sure. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, John Rhys Davies does Leonid Pushkin. I think that may be the same guy. I'll have to take a look. See, that's what I'm saying, guys. I've only seen the film once, so this is why you're getting it wrong off the cuff. I can't remember everything. I remember most of everything, but I can't remember everything. I will be way better with License to Kill, because License to Kill I've seen several times, and that's such a friggin' good film as well. You also have Kamran Shah, who is a Turkish militant who's actually going against the Russian occupation that they have of them during the time, and he's like going against them, doing what they can, and like you have James Bond, and what the heck's her name again? Oh yeah, Kara Malavi run into him, and they're actually trying to use him, and well, not use him, but they're asking yeah, Yeah, Kamara Shan, played by Art Malik, if I haven't said that. Art Malik's character, Kamara Shan. They're asking Shah if he could work with them so they could get into that airfield, stop the Russians from taking out, because Koskov is trying to use those planes to like deliver the weapons to cause this massive war between Russia and the West. And so, Whitaker can make his money. And, Shaw doesn't want to believe them. He's like, well, you're also British. We're no fans of the British either. We're also not fans of the Russians. And James Bond does some great on the table dealing here. Like, he's offering, like, I'll give you this, we'll give you that. If we work together, we can also stop them. We don't need to do this by himself. So Shaw is reluctant at first, but Kimra Shah trusts him at some point, and then they work together to stop Koskov. Koskov's there, and Koskov actually books it. Like, he runs off, leaving James Bond to try to get on this big plane where these weapons are being delivered, and he's trying to stop them from going off. And then Kimra, Shah's men, and Bond, they destroy that whole compound of the Russians there. They destroy all the weapons that were trying to be shipped, all the things that were going down. And when Bond gets on the plane, Saunders follows him. And I have to say, when Saunders follows him, it is an epic fight on this plane between the two, where they're fighting and trying to make sure the plane gets where it needs to, the weapon shipments go. And there's this part where they release the back end of the plane, and the weapon boxes that are in this net slide back and they fall off the end. And it's where, like, Saunders and Bond are fighting on the end of these boxes. And, Saunders is getting the upper hand on Bond. Bond's not giving up, fighting him back. And, it's going crazy because you can see where this net is whipping back and forth. It's not doing too bad at first, but as soon as Saunders starts cutting pieces, like the boxes start falling out the back, it starts whipping. It was really, they said it wasn't easy, but it was a very, very dangerous stunt to do. It was not an easy stunt to do. It was a very dangerous stunt, but it's one that they pulled off great and looked great on camera. And now that was definitely one that the actor who played Saunders and Thomas Wheatley and Timothy Dalton as Bond, they did not have them do. That was all stunt double. But as you can see, you can understand dangerous stuff, but they did have, like, a platform they were working on in Pinewood Studios where they were filming the close-ups, and everything cut together. The scene looks awesome. Bond eventually defeats Saunders because I think he gets higher on the net, cuts the net. Saunders, like, trying to hold on for dear life. Like, Bond just looks at him and cuts the net, and Saunders is, like, going down into the Turkish desert landscape below to be killed. And that was satisfying for Bond, because I probably do need to mention one Saunders moment when Bond was with Kara. He's meeting up with his ally, which hopefully I'm getting it right too. Hopefully his ally is Necros and not Saunders. But he's meeting up with Necros, played by Andreas Winiski. And Necros has got information for him, and I think they're outside of an ice cream parlor. I believe this is in Italy. They're out in Italy, outside of an ice cream parlor, waiting. And what happens is like, Saunders is smart. Like, I think he grabs a bunch of balloons and he's pretending to be like a street vendor or a clown. And I forget if he stabbed or shot Necros while he was waiting for him. But what happened is Necros gets killed. Bond comes back. Bond sees Necros is dead, and he sees a balloon that Saunders left that's saying, like, better luck next time, or he failed and you will too. It was something that was scathing, and it got to Bond because Bond just took the balloon. You saw the pain in Bond's face, where he knows he wants to grieve for Necros, but he can't grieve for him at this moment, and he just, like, Timothy Dalton gets so angry that you can see how he's hiding in most of his back, and you see his arms shaking, his eyes are wide, and he just pops the balloon. And a lot of people are saying, if you read Ian Fleming's books, that's how Bond reacted in all the books when he lost an ally. or if one of his loves were killed, he reacted with that same type of thing where you could tell he was pissed. He wasn't hiding it. He was just mad. And that's why, once again, I tell people where they say in the new films, Bond was never vengeful. Bond never got upset in the older ones. And I'm like, I beg to differ. He had a lot of good moments in all the original films where he would take out certain people as vengeance for the allies and people he lost. I mean, you could see how Connery did that, how Roger Moore did that, even though, once again, that wasn't Roger Moore's thing. Dalton played it perfectly, in my opinion. Brosnan had great times with that too, and I really think Brosnan mimicked Dalton pretty well too. I think Brosnan's best performance, well, he was good in all the movies, but I think his best performance of that was in Goldeneye, and that's why we'll get to that too, because I cannot wait to talk about Goldeneye. But gotta say, Dalton was pitch perfect in that scene too, because you really felt the pain in him, and you felt bad for what happened to Necros. You felt bad for him because he let down and a partner, an agent who was helping him out, and he didn't mean it to get that far, but it just happened. And overall, License to Kill is, or not, sorry, wrong thing. The Living Daylights is a great, great film. Just a really good film, full of great action, good story, a little bit of cheese at times, but just really well delivered, well stuff, high stakes, good story. Which I think, let me get the bigger thing, because I can see on the other case here. Yes, screenplay was once again done by Bond veteran writer Richard Maybaum, and you can also say Michael G. Wilson's a veteran writer at this point too, since he co-wrote a lot of scripts with Maybaum at this point too. And they had great things with the weapons dealings and all that. And oh yeah, John Rhys Davies, that is Sala. I forgot that is Sala from from Indiana Jones, because I forgot you. I completely forgot. See, this is how I can tell I've only seen it one time. Because that's him right there. I don't know if I can get that close to you guys. And I know the glare is a little bad. I do apologize. But as you see, that is him. That is John. That is actually John Rhys Davies. That's why I almost lost my pardon my shit with that. But so yeah, that is Sala. That is Gimli. That is, once again, that is so freaking cool. I forgot about that. That is so freaking cool in my opinion. And it had good action too. And if you guys are wondering what happened with Koskov, both Pushkin and Walter Gotell actually got Koskov back into their hands, and you can tell Koskov is going to be dealing hard times with the KGB, because at the end, after Brad Whitaker was killed, you have Kara and Bond meet up with Koskov, and Koskov is whooping screwed at that point, and love that too. So forgot to add that little part in there too. So but anyway, the script was really well done for this. Let's see, who did the music for this one? Was it still oh yeah, and this is where Barbara Broccoli, Albert R. Broccoli's daughter, comes in and is starting to become associate producer. I believe this was the first movie for her, because I don't think she was there during View to a Kill, but this is where she pops in as a producer and eventually will become the main producer with Michael G. Wilson for the rest of the Bond films. Well, let's see, who did... Oh, yeah, John Barry. Okay, so yeah, John Barry also, once again, does a score for this movie too, because I'm always confused, because I want to say it's all John Barry until we got to License to Kill, because I know License to Kill was done by Michael Kamen, but John Barry did most of the music for these movies. There are those few movies that he did not do the music for, but he did the music for this one. Great score. Living Daylights is a great, great theme. But Living Daylights, hey, Living Daylights. Sorry, little thing there, and I know my singing is atrocious, so apologies for that again. But once again, just great film, good stuff, great direction again by John Glenn. This is why I say John Glenn did some of the best films in the 80s, because he was really spot on with a lot of these 80s films. And if you guys think, don't believe that, just wait till I get to License to Kill. And if you want to check that out, because License to Kill is a great, great film. So, let me know what you guys think. Once again, put in the comments, what do you think about Living Daylights? Have you seen any of the Timothy Dalton ones? If you haven't, why not? Do you think, was he not your favorite Bond? Was he not good for you guys at all? Just, yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think. Like, share, and subscribe, and just, keep doing what you can, because, hey, for anybody who views my videos or anything like that, I appreciate it for whatever you guys do. I love it, and, thank you for listening to me, and this time, and oh yeah, once again, I vote this film. This film was a 10 out of 10. Great action, good story. Like I said, a little cheesy, but not too cheesy for too long. Just a very, very good overall film. And just, love it. When I saw Living Daylights fully for the first time instead of just a few scenes, it's a great, great film. So let me know what you guys think about it, okay? I'd love to hear from you guys. So until then, this is 012 Boku coming at you. Well, I'll just keep it here. This is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and I will talk to you guys again. Yeah, it's better like that. I will talk to you guys again next time, all right? Later and deuces.